Okay, hi and welcome. My name is Leann Forst. Welcome to the webinar on Defeat Diabetes Naturally. If we haven't met yet, here's a little bit about me. I am a board certified holistic health practitioner. I'm also an author and a speaker and a family health and cancer coach. And I also am a certified essential oils coach and owner of groovybeats.com. So I'm going to start off right away by just drilling down on diabetes and defining it so that we can go from there. So diabetes is a disease associated with consistently elevated blood glucose. But in short, diabetes is truly an insulin issue. So blood glucose is the body's main source of energy, and it's obtained through diet. Insulin, a hormone produced by the pancreas, then facilitates the glucose from the food into the cells to be used as energy. Dysfunction occurs when the pancreas doesn't make enough insulin or when the insulin isn't used efficiently. So as a result, the glucose stays in the blood and does not reach the cells, and it's stored rather than used for energy. So the buildup of glucose in the blood can cause a lot of health problems, as we know. Okay, so diabetes affects nearly every aspect of one's health, and it increases the risk of the following health complications, including cardiovascular disease, stroke, neuropathy, kidney disease, gastroparesis, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, glaucoma, cataracts, cognitive decline, and even cancer. There are different degrees of diabetes. Type 1 and type 2. Type 1 is an autoimmune disease where the ability to make insulin is entirely dismantled. This is due to the immune system's destruction of vital pancreatic insulin-producing cells. Type 1 diabetes is managed by insulin injection or an insulin pump and requires continual monitoring. Whereas type 2 is the form of diabetes where the body eventually begins resisting the effects of insulin or simply does not produce enough to maintain a normal blood sugar balance. This type may require insulin therapy as well, but can be treated with lifestyle changes such as diet, exercise, and stress relief practices with close blood sugar monitoring. Okay, so let's talk about the development of diabetes. Before the onset of diabetes, there is a stage called insulin resistance, and this refers to when the cells change their response to insulin, and in turn, the pancreas begins to produce more insulin to bring the blood glucose levels down. So sugar begins being forced into the cell walls beyond their capacity, and this excess sugar is then converted into triglycerides. This becomes one of the first indications of inflammation or insulin resistance. This can develop over a long period of time and is fueled by lifestyle choices such as poor diet or lack of physical activity. The cells will become increasingly more insulin resistant while insulin and glucose levels continue to rise. But eventually the pancreas will be unable to react and will undergo significant damage. So it's important to note that insulin resistance is always present before a diabetes diagnosis. Insulin resistance can be present with normal blood glucose levels, but this increased demand for insulin leads to what is called pancreatic burnout. So insulin resistance, there are some signs that can tell us if we have insulin resistance. This includes fatigue after meals, constant hunger, heightened cravings for sweets, and difficulty losing weight. Increased insulin in the blood speeds up the progression of diabetes as well as a host of other health issues. So we know that 32% of the population has insulin resistance. So talking a little bit more about insulin. Excess insulin has been found to be connected with almost all chronic and systemic diseases. Excess insulin increases the liver, muscle, and fat tissues uptake of glucose, increases fat storage, increases glycogen and stored glucose synthesis, increases amino acid uptake by cells, increases potassium uptake, decreases the breakdown of proteins, decreases the breakdown of fat, and decreases gluconeogenesis. Okay, so what does all of this mean? Well, basically it means that insulin resistance is associated with the following health concerns: metabolic syndrome, chronic kidney disease, coronary heart disease, Alzheimer's disease, polycystic ovary syndrome, rheumatoid arthritis, multiple sclerosis, lupus, and much more. Insulin resistance is provoked by a number of factors, such as obesity, which we know, specifically the increased abdominal fat, high amounts of free fatty acids in the blood, a high intake of added fructose, increased oxidative stress and inflammation due to toxic overload, prolonged inactivity, compromised gut microbiome, smoking tobacco, habitual overeating, nutrient poor diet, just to name a few. So luckily, many of these things are behaviors that can be modified to lower the likelihood of developing insulin resistance. Okay. So first, we know that prevention is the key. There are several evidence-based ways to prevent or reverse insulin resistance, hence the development of diabetes. So in fact, many of these strategies are also well known as protection against most diseases and the promotion of overall health. And these include maintaining a healthy weight, particularly by losing weight around the abdominals, implementing a healthy, balanced diet, exercising regularly, quit smoking, reducing your sugar intake, taking supplements. Supplements can be very powerful as another tool in your health program, improving your sleep quality, managing stress. So we're going to talk about each one of these in detail and then how you can empower yourself to take control of diabetes and your health. Okay, so first, let's talk about the importance of weight management. As the trend of obesity increases, so does the diabetes epidemic, and this is no coincidence. A study conducted in 2011 proved that diabetes could be reversed with a drastic diet change and weight management. In fact, a plant-based, low-calorie diet showed beneficial changes in as little as 1 week and a complete turnaround in as little as 8 weeks. So this research included MRI imaging, blood sugar monitoring, insulin response tests, and cholesterol assessments, and more. All right, so we do know that there is a gut health connection and a gut diabetes connection. Bacteria plays a major role in disease, including diabetes, and our microbial balance within our digestive system directly influences our overall health. Type 1 diabetes has been understood as an autoimmune disease, meaning the immune system attacks healthy cells, mistaking them as invaders. Research on type 2 diabetes also has been finding more evidence on autoimmunity as well. So autoimmunity in all forms is commonly linked to gut permeability. And that being said, the key to health is through the gut. So there's a lot of ways that you can boost gut health, including addressing, first test and don't guess. You test for any food allergies or sensitivities, and then you address them. Enforcing an anti-inflammatory diet, replenishing the body with essential nutrients through food and supplements, and then staying adequately hydrated. We know that food is medicine. Hippocrates said it best, and it's still true today. With numerous diets, that claim to be the answer to all your problems, it's hard to pick the right one, when they often conflict with each other. So the terms that are necessary for diabetes is glycemic index, which is the scale used to measure your body's insulin response from a particular food. So low GI foods are 55 or less. And then glycemic load, which is the amount of food eaten that will raise your insulin. So insulin is one of the only hormones that we have the power to control, and it begins with our fork. So some things to pay attention to are your timing and frequency of your meals, eliminating inflammatory foods such as processed foods or fast foods or dairy, and then uncovering food sensitivities which can cause immune and inflammatory responses. Okay. So a common misconception with plant-based diets is that they are carb heavy and not fit for those with diabetes. But instead, research has been proving that there are a lot of benefits associated with a plant-based diet, such as decreased saturated fat intake, increased fiber, more vitamins and mineral absorption, less exposure to nitrates and sodium, considerably less inflammation, lower cholesterol levels, and more controlled blood glucose levels. Okay. We also know that there are strong links between increasing presence of sugar in our food supply with the prevalence of diabetes in our world today. Plainly said, more sugar means more diabetes. For example, every 150 calories of sugar per person per day has resulted in diabetes rising by 1% in the population. So to put this in perspective, one 12-ounce can has approximately 150 calories of sugar. We also know that diabetics are often deficient in many nutrients the body needs to function properly. A few of the most common include alpha lipoic acid, which is an anti-inflammatory and antioxidant and responsible for turning sugar into energy within the cells. Magnesium, which is a mineral responsible for energy production and nerve function. Zinc, which is especially important to the proper functioning of the pancreas. And then all B vitamins play an important role, but one role which is particularly important to diabetic health is carbohydrate metabolism. And then chromium helps to make insulin receptor sites more sensitive to insulin and in turn fighting the issues of insulin resistance. And so everybody's nutritional needs are, individualized. So I recommend that you consult with a holistic health practitioner and get tested for nutrient deficiencies. And I recommend that you do this every year. So then supplements. Supplements are important, and there are some core supplements that every adult should be taking. So whole food supplements, that includes a whole food multi-mineral and multivitamin, are important. A comprehensive antioxidant to fight the oxidative stress. A comprehensive omega-3, 6, and 9, and this includes plant-based and marine-based omegas. We know that fish oil is healthy, but actually plant-based omegas are important too to fight the inflammation that causes disease. Probiotics, of course, we talked about how the gut is important in balancing that gut microbiome. So getting a probiotic that has a prebiotic in it is important because the prebiotic feeds the probiotic so that it stays alive. And then enzymes. Enzymes are hugely important because when we don't digest our food, the older we get, our digestive system breaks down and starts lacking. And so digestive enzymes are important to break down our food because if our food isn't completely broken down and our digestive system isn't working optimally, then it causes inflammation. So work with a practitioner to see which supplements are right for you. So we know that regular exercise has shown to provide significantly lower insulin levels and in turn, diabetes complications. Exercise burns calories, which aids in weight management and a decrease in fat cells' demand for insulin. Exercise increases the sensitivity of insulin receptors, which lowers blood glucose and insulin demand. Exercise helps your body's detoxification system and mobilization of toxins throughout your lymphatic system. Exercise also activates over 500 genes in the body and allows for a more efficient utilization on hormones such as insulin. We also know that exercise helps to control hunger and decreases food cravings and regulates the body's energy storage. So there are so many reasons to exercise besides it just makes you feel good. So stress is a big one. 90% of doctors' visits can be connected to chronic stress in some way, and it makes sense when you consider that all disease is impacted by stress, and diabetes is no different. And so stress has 3 different ways it can impact an individual. Physically, chemically, and emotionally, or a combination of any of the 3. Stress affects diabetes specifically by decreasing insulin receptor sensitivity, raising cortisol levels, causing sugary, salty, and fatty food cravings, and then raising blood sugar. So under stressful conditions, cortisol provides the body with glucose by tapping into protein stores via gluconeogenesis in the liver. This energy can help an individual fight or flee a stressor. However, elevated cortisol over the long term consistently produces glucose, leading to increased blood sugar levels. So, inadequate sleep leads to metabolic damage, glucose imbalance, increased food cravings, and breeds many of the risk factors associated with many diseases, including diabetes. Studies have linked sleep quality to the prevalence and degree of insulin resistance. The results prioritize 7 to 9 hours of high-quality sleep to reduce cellular inflammation and insulin dysfunction. Essential oils are an excellent plant-based solution for sleep. Some of my favorite essential oils for sleep are lavender, Roman chamomile, and marjoram. Detox. Detox is something I teach on regularly. It's highly important no matter what your health goal or health condition is. And so although increased sugar consumption, obesity, and lack of exercise certainly contribute, the effect of environmental toxins may be far greater. There are over 100,000 chemicals in use today, and 80,000 have not been proven as safe for human health. On average, women put 168 different chemicals on their body every day for personal personal care products, cleaning products, and other things. Researchers now label these toxins as diobetogens. Some toxins are linked to diabetes include PCBs, dioxins, BPA, pesticides, and herbicides. So the solutions to this situation is to include targeted detox supplements, a lot of fiber in your food, and infrared saunas. Okay, so if you're not familiar with essential oils, I can briefly explain that essential oils are therapeutic compounds that are extracted from plants for health benefits. Okay, they are 50 to 70 times more powerful than herbs, and they can enter into the cell membrane to address health issues at the root cause. And they are safe, effective, and affordable. Okay. So some of my favorite essential oils for diabetes address actually the issue. So for instance, for weight loss, cinnamon, grapefruit, black pepper are all important because they do different things to help support weight loss. And then stress, I like frankincense, blue tansy, bergamot, which is a mood elevator, citrus oils, which are mood balancing. If you have pain associated with diabetes, I like copaiba and pink pepper. And then for sleep, I love lavender, which is very calming, vetiver, which is a sedative, and patchouli, which induces relaxation. Okay. So there are ways to take control of your health, and here's a summary of what you need in order to have power over diabetes. First, you need an anti-inflammatory diet. Then you need supplementation, the right supplementation. Incorporating plant-based essential oils is important. Test for food allergies and food sensitivities. Quit smoking, exercise regularly, stay hydrated, manage stress, improve your sleep, and detox regularly. Okay, and so with all that, I want to offer a gift from me to you for joining me here today with this webinar. And all you have to do is text the word nutrient to 44222. And with that, you'll get several gifts, one of them to include my free nutrient deficiency quiz. You'll also get 30 days of my anti-inflammatory recipe program. And you'll get an offer for a free phone consult from me. You'll get my free essential oils for health and healing webinar. You'll get my recommendation for a 30-day cleanse supplement protocol. You'll also get gut and health supplement recommendations from me as far as naming brands. And then you'll also get access to a pre-diabetes online course. So anyway, thank you very much. I'm honored that you joined me here today, and I appreciate it. I hope you got a few nuggets of information. And that's it for me.